started. And I promise you that my skills are getting sharper, so I'ma get charted. Can't be guarded, nah, I'm the one to get retarded. Get the party started, yeah, get the party started. Yeah, so let me get up on it, yeah. Bitch, you got me fucked up, I don't know what's up. Pour that shit in my cup, we about to turn up. Crank this shit up so loud, sounds like we're sold out. In front of a whole crowd, we lose control now. Y'all take this shit too personally. Everybody got a different version of me. Everybody gotta be learning from me. Everybody wanna be working with me. And I feel like there's uncertainty and urgency to find out what you wanna be. But honestly, we change our minds constantly, so stop and breathe and find out who you wanna be. Failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me, failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me now.
Welcome and good morning. Please someone turn the speaker off. I'm sorry. I'm doing this again. Terribly sorry. Speaker's off. Okay, thank you. Good morning here from lovely Warszawa, Polska, here for the Division 2 of the European Quidditch Cup 2019. We have an exciting day of games ahead of us. We have the top 8. We have the bottom 8. We'll be seeing a match from the bottom 8 right now next in a classic duel between the Netherlands and Ireland. That might sound like a joke, but in the third rank of European Quidditch, this is basically the absolute classic, the Netherlands versus Ireland. We do have a lot of exciting games coming up in the top 8. As always, this is a tournament played on 4 pitches at the same time, so we won't be able to show you all of them. But here are the matchups we will have for the quarterfinals of the top 8. We have Liverpool Quidditch Club versus the Vienna Vanguards, a rematch from day 1 where Vienna lost to Liverpool due to a Liverpool snitch catch when they were 2 goals ahead. Very exciting game this is going to be. Also, we have Southampton Quidditch Club versus Berlin Blue Caps. That will also be a pretty big matchup between two teams that previously, before the tournament, people would have both seen in the final, maybe. Here they are meeting in the quarterfinals already. Also, another quarterfinal in the top 8 will be Looping Nooks Leipzig versus Bielefelder Basilisken, an all-German duel between 2 teams people also saw in the top ranks. Well, here they are in the quarterfinals, meeting each other. And also we have Augsburg Owls, who yesterday got a surprise victory versus Southampton Quidditch Club, defying a lot of people's expectations who still saw Augsburg as a qualifier on a little bit more of a luck base, but they've definitely come here and proven they're worthy to be here in the top 8. They will be playing basically home team Wrocław Wanderers. Well, home team, obviously we're not in Wrocław, we are in Warsaw, but there has been much home support here for the Wanderers here in their home country in Poland here. And Augsburg versus Wrocław is definitely also will be an interesting game. We also see it on screen while my mug is somewhere in the middle of all of that. There's also some interesting games taking place in the bottom 8. We will have Prague Pegasus versus Pressburg Phantoms in the sort of Czechoslovakian derby. They've also already played yesterday. Prague Pegasus got pretty much thrashed by the Pressburg Phantoms in sort of a revenge game for the Czechoslovakia game at World Cup. But it stands to reason how the Pegasus will fare today versus the Phantoms. We also have Woodala Wingdoes from Uppsala, Sweden versus Malaga Vikings from Spain. That'll probably be a relatively one-sided affair. Malaga probably one of the contenders for the top spot in the lower bracket for what would be amount to the 9th place in the rankings. Malaga probably not super excited to be in the 9 to 16 range, but well, this game will not stand in their way to at least win out on day 2 because Woodala Wingdoes from Uppsala, small team, relatively new area, a team here to gain experience, and a team definitely getting a lot of experience out of these games. Also, we'll have, I'm moving to the other one, we have the Basel Basilisk versus Hafnia Harpies of Copenhagen. Switzerland versus Denmark, not really a duel we've seen too often so far, although both countries relatively on the same level in regards to development of Quidditch, in regards to strength of playing. The Basel Basilisk so far have not had a good tournament, winning their own EQC spot in a pretty gripping game against Turicum Thunderbirds of Zurich, but probably it stands to reason whether or not they're really the strongest Swiss team, but Swiss Quidditch is pretty volatile. Things change from time to time, and Basel are here. Basel earns their spot here. And it'll be exciting to see how they fare against Hafnia Harpies from Copenhagen, a pretty new team. Admittedly, they have a couple of players, or more experienced players from other teams here playing for them. Especially relevant to add would be the Aarhus Owls. And the bottom 8 game that we will show you in a second is Dublin Draiochta Dragons versus Twentse Thestrals from Enschede Twente in the Netherlands. The Netherlands and Ireland, 2 countries you wouldn't really put together in Europe in the entirety of European history, but in Quidditch, it is definitely a duel on the club level, on the national team level that has happened a lot of times, and it has become sort of a friendly rivalry over the years. Both the Netherlands and Ireland, sort of like the top teams in what some would consider the 3rd tier of European Quidditch. Like the 1st tier, you'd have all the top teams. The 2nd tier, you'd have all the teams sort of in the middle of the competent teams who will probably still not have a chance on the European title. And then you have the 3rd level of European Quidditch, where I would and many others would put the Netherlands, would put Ireland, put Slovakia, put the Czech Republic, maybe Switzerland, maybe Denmark. And both teams, the goals they formulated for this tournament, and basically the national teams also formulated for their goals for the European games, funnily enough, is basically just not lose to the Netherlands, not lose to Ireland. And so this will be another facet in that fun little rivalry. Dublin Draiochta Dragons with a very, very small squad of just 9 players, possibly only just 8 players. One person got hurt yesterday, but we'll stand to see whether she'll be able to play today. I don't see her in the lineup right now, so it looks as if Dublin Draiochta Dragons will go into this game as an 8-person team. And on the other side, we have Twentse Thestrals from the Netherlands. The Netherlands, a country with a long Quidditch history, but one that has often, perhaps unfairly, been characterized as less competitive and more of a social and more of a get-together, have some tea, discuss Harry Potter kind of thing. Perhaps unfairly painted, but Twentse Thestrals have definitely brought a little more of a competitive edge, brought more of a sporting edge to the Dutch Quidditch scene, and they have qualified with relative ease for this tournament. You have the Dutch Quidditch has historically sort of been known for like teams like the North Sea Nargles, who sadly disbanded, and the Domtower Dementors from Utrecht. Twentse Thestrals have a couple of players from both teams here. It's become sort of a unofficial Dutch super team, And we'll see how the top level and the top players of Dutch Quidditch fare here. They do have an advantage in having a lot more players in their squad than the Dragons, who will have to fare with just 8 people. But Dublin Draiochta Dragons have some very, very experienced players in their squad. Steve Scheurer, original member of the Vienna Vanguards, and basically the founder of Irish Quidditch, together with Marina Nemechkova, who I don't think is here at the moment, sadly. They also have Philip Moore. Lovely snitch catch that we saw after a game that lasted for what felt like 3 hours yesterday on stream against Prague Pegasus. So yeah, this roster might be small, but don't underestimate them. But obviously, Twentse Thestrals probably a little bit more of the favorite in this matchup. We'll see in some time. It is pretty windy here, so we'll also see how that affects passing game. Will obviously be a little bit more difficult in these conditions. Yeah, also, all of our equipment is flying away. That is also a bit of a problem in these windy conditions, but we will bring you all of the games either way under these conditions, the way you're accustomed to. Now let's talk a little bit more about the top 8, about the possible way to the finals for all of the teams. Liverpool versus Vanguards on one side of the bracket, with Southampton versus Berlin in what promises to whatever will be an exciting matchup. Liverpool versus Southampton would see a UK semi-final. Vienna Vanguards versus Berlin Blue Caps would see another rematch in the semi-final, with especially Vienna Vanguards as the team coming out the losing side of that first matchup. Definitely will be having a bone to pick with their fellow capital team. Well, Vienna's capital of Austria, Berlin's the capital of Germany, so I guess they're both capital teams. We could also see like Liverpool versus Berlin, of course, or Vienna Vanguards versus Southampton, which would see a little bit of a get-together. Southampton Quidditch Club with Lena Manda, who's a former Vienna Vanguard, as beater, and obviously the connection Southampton-Austria is sort of a one that has never really let up. On the other side of the bracket, we would have Leipzig, Bielefeld, Augsburg, and Wrocław Wanderers, which could possibly also see another all-German duel on the semi-final side. Whoever wins with Leipzig or Bielefeld, if Augsburg win, that would make it... we could possibly have an all-English semi-final and on one side and an all-German semi-final on the other side. Technically also possible is an all-German final if Berlin Blue Caps make their way through Southampton and through whoever is waiting in the semi-final, Liverpool or Vienna. If they were to meet either Leipzig, either Bielefeld, either Augsburg, that would make it an all-German final. We could technically also see the everlasting rematch of Berlin versus Leipzig if both teams make it through the quarter and the semi-finals in a game both teams are already sick to death of. But if it's a final in the EQC Division 2, that will give it another more different twist. Both teams know each other in and out, so this might be an exciting final as well. We could also see the continuation of the rise of the Augsburg Owls from a team that for a long time in German Quidditch was a running gag as a very competent team that never really fulfilled on their promise. If they make it over the Wrocław de facto sort of home team, the Wrocław Wanderers, if they can make it past them and then make it past Bielefeld perhaps again, or make it past Leipzig, which would definitely be an upset shaking German Quidditch, we could see the Augsburg Owls, who a year ago didn't even qualify for EQC, for the regular EQC, now winning the EQC2 altogether. That would also be an interesting narrative. We could also have Looping Lux Leipzig, a team that belonged to the top level of German Quidditch, but have so far failed to, I've been told we're moving the camera towards the pitch right now. Oh, I was, okay, I'm misunderstanding directions. I'm terribly sorry. What was I going to say about Leipzig? Yeah, probably that so far yet to win a title, and putting that EQC2 title in their resume would probably, in the minds of the Leipzig team, would be an achievement to stick on their hats after years of really good work, which is absolutely true. The Looping Lux Leipzig has been one of the top German teams so far, not yet able to win the title though. Obviously, we also have the Bielefelder Basilisken on the other side. That would be a very interesting thing. Third place in the NRW League, the German Regional League, together with Ruhr Phoenix Bochum and Rheinus Bonn, who've both qualified for EQC1. That would be interesting. Third place team in a regional league, winning a title. Bielefeld would, we'd probably see stuff flying around over here in all the celebrations and stuff being torn apart. Also, possibility, the Wrocław Wanderers are also waiting on that right side of the bracket. And yeah, obviously they would love to win the first international tournament in their home country of Poland. That is for the EQC Division 2. That would obviously be something as well, but they'll definitely have an uphill battle to face. Yeah. So possible finals we could see the rematch Berlin-Leipzig. We could see a German UK matchup, probably something a lot of people expected. We could also see the home team advance to the finals. We could, who knows? Okay, we are turning the camera finally around to the teams warming up. Twentse Thestrals from left to right in their blue and black sort of dress jerseys, and the Dublin Dragons in their classic blue and green from right to left. And you have heard enough about me. You have heard enough from me, Richard Tukvic, but next to me on my side, as he is wont to be and as I prefer him always, as soon as his microphone is turned on at least. Yeah. It is early in the morning for all of us, so...
Yeah, now I'm with you, Richard.
Now
Thank
you're
you.
with me.
Thank
Very,
you much
very
for introducing me.
I don't think I've said your name.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip Stolz here on the right-hand side of Richard Turkovic, and we'll have the pleasure of commentating Twentse versus Dublin. Enschede versus Dublin.
Yeah.
And we'll see whether these windy conditions will allow for a start of this game early, because Blatters and Quaffles are flying from north
And
to
hoops
south.
are flying.
Yeah.
And also pitch tents, so that's also going to make for some interesting conditions for this. Again, I've mentioned it a little bit in my 5-hour monologue before this here. This is sort of a classic matchup. Both the Netherlands and Ireland, whether on a national team level or on a club team level, they've met each other pretty regularly, and they're sort of like each other's country's favorite rivals in this lovely sport we play.
Yeah, I mean, this is some one thing I really like about this tournament. Now we come to the part of it where people are stacked against pretty evenly matched up teams.
Yes, absolutely.
And this should make for some more exciting games. For example, like the last two bracket plays of yesterday, where everything was pretty much clear, no upsets or something like that.
There was one lower seed that won against the higher seed.
Yeah,
the Vienna Vanguards.
Yeah, of course you had to mention it. Yeah.
Of course I have to mention it.
We
Yeah.
can't forget that the previous games of the Vienna Vanguards were somewhat of a disappointment, because
Yeah, absolutely, true.
But I think they came through in the end, and I wasn't surprised to see them in the upper bracket. For now, yeah, the windy conditions, I think I don't want to complain too much about that, because yesterday we started with snow and rain, and now we have beautiful weather here in Warsaw.
Yeah.
I feel very I feel very blessed in these conditions, and this little wind won't harm these Quidditch players on the pitch. I think they prefer it to being in snow.
Probably, yeah.
All
Probably, yes.
day long.
Except for the Swedish, maybe. But, yeah. Who are playing on the other pitch versus the Malacca Vikings from Spain. Probably the most one-sided matchup between these 4 games we'll have here. But the most evenly matchup we have on stream with the Dublin Dragons, small squad but very experienced players, versus the Twentse Thestrals. Also a lot of experienced players in their squad, but for other teams, for other Dutch teams, mainly.
And small squad is exactly the right term for Dublin. 8 players
Yes.
have come across the pond towards Poland, towards Warsaw, and I think they did great. But with 8 players, the second tournament day, it's a whole different story. Now your muscles really start to hurt. You're in a whole world of pain, basically. And I hope
Absolutely.
they had a good night's rest and are ready for their opponents, the Twentse Thestrals.
But the Dublin Dragons, you can't count them out entirely, because we all saw the game yesterday on stream versus the Prague Pegasus with probably double the size of the squad, where Dragons with their experienced players made for some pretty well, they won in the end. So, I mean...
Yeah, our analysts said they pretty much outsmarted the Prague Pegasi, because they used their disadvantage towards the favor, and Prague didn't sub out as often as they should have done. But it's all in the past. Right now, it's all about Twentse versus Dublin. And Dublin has brought some, I would say, fans from all across Europe.
That's true, yes.
I think
the Irish diaspora.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard not to fall in love with Ireland once you've been there. And
that is also true, yes.
There is some fans that brought this love from all across Europe towards Warsaw to help these guys and motivate them from outside of the pitch.
It also can't be understated that there has always been a level of support from the UK towards the Irish teams. The first Irish national team basically were UK players who had some form of Irish ancestry, but I mean, when the team in Belfast, the Northern Wyverns, still existed, they played Development Cup in the UK with the special arrangements made for Northern Ireland, and rumor has it a couple of Dublin players played in that Dev Cup too. We can neither confirm nor deny these rumors. We do not have any roster lists from Dev Cup for us, but it's true. Like Dublin and Ireland, a small NGB and NGB with very little chance to play, but considering a little chance they had to play, they played a lot. So the Dragons, again, very experienced team. Head referee is Vincent Fröhlich.
All right, it's hard for my eyes to fathom this, but he's wearing black and white when we all know that yellow matches his personality really good. Okay, short hiccup.
Yeah.
There, one headband was missing. Now it's provided, and off we go. Great
Thestrals,
start for Twentse.
both bludgeon control and quaffle possession.
And now there's a no bludgeon call. Pass in the middle. That was a great sequence.
Wonderful.
That
Wonderful
was a
passing
great
play,
sequence.
yes. And 10-0 for Twente.
Short counter attack on the right hand side. That's Stevo. Driving to middle
What?
and puts it through.
Equalizes immediately Stevo Scheurer, a player who has more experience on the pitch than I have in eating, and that's saying something.
Okay, I think maybe I have to reconsider my thing about day 2, because these two teams seem very well prepared, and maybe it's because our first game starts at 10 and
That's
not as
true, yeah.
usual as like a normal tournament at 9 or 8ish.
Yes.
People had a little bit more time to sleep, and it seems to help. But now let's see if Twentse can do something with no bludgeon control.
Good challenge here by Phil Moore, but overthrown, and that will be Dublin's ball again. It almost seems like you can take the best Dutch players and put them in the team, but you can't put the Dutch out of them, it seems a little at the moment.
All right, now we have Phil Moore on the left-hand side. Can give it back.
Pass back to Kane. Protects the ball. Oh. That's the thing, though. Dublin is good on the rebounds right now. The beat against Kane, but Phil Moore is sort of through.
No way. No way. Yeah, I think that was maybe a bit overly enthusiastic. He was all alone, bludgeon right in his face. A keeper still at the hoops.
It has worked before, though. Phil Moore is pretty good at these solo runs, pretty good at dodging the bludgers, pretty good at making beaters miss. It wasn't the worst idea.
But for me, it seems more smarter when he would reset the whole thing. Maybe give his team some options to help him out there.
True. Twente in bludgeon control and quaffle possession. Good challenge again by Phil Moore.
Nice pass
behind
by
the hoop.
Bram. Oh,
Marvelous.
that was awesome.
Yes, that is what they wanted to do. 2010 for Twente.
Goal
Almost
by
a-
Peter Hoyschur, captain and one of the founders of the Twentse Thestrals. And he was, I think the pass was also really good
The
by
pass-
Bram de Vries.
Yeah. Textbook passing Quidditch game.
Pass on the wing.
Stevo Scheurer still on the ground, but goes through.
Oh!
Was that through?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Oh, nice defense here.
And we have a person lying on the ground. This will be an injury sub right now.
Yeah, Phil Moore took the jump there to go for the left-sided hoop, but there was one hand that came to his face. I don't think it was on purpose, not at all, but it happened, and now he has to step off pitch. Great defense there on this instant by Bram de Vries. He's doing a great job. This guy has really... I think I saw him 2 years ago, and he was nearly as established and polished as a player as he is now.
Yes. Bram de Vries is definitely one of the players you will know from previous EQCs for the Dutch teams. He used to play for North Nargles,
Yeah,
team
you're right.
that is sadly defunct by now. Yeah, but definitely one
It
of the
hasn't stopped him
experienced
from
players.
coming to Warsaw
Nope.
with the Twentse Thestrals.
Definitely hasn't.
No
Good
bloodshed situation, and Bram de Vries can be stopped by Abby. She did a nice job right there with like quick interception and picking off the quaffle out of Bram's big hands. All right, in defense, the Twentse relies on a 2-2 defense.
Oh, the Dublin is napalming. I didn't even see them gain bludger control, but that's probably not the worst idea. Stivo Scheurer can't be pushed outside of the boundary. Too good for that. But loses the quaffle. Almost gains it back, and he gains it back again. And there he goes. The classic Stivo Scheurer run. It goes through. There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They might be a small squad, but each and every one of those players has their tricks up their sleeves, have their specific game plans that they're going to do, and that's how Dublin Dragons, even though they're only 8 players, equalize versus Twente.
Of Dublin, I really like number 19, Abby. She's a rookie, but she played some good offense. She sets some good picks, and she's always a reliable option to pass to. Dublin has some new players that provide them with some good offense.
That was a very costly miss, and the ball goes back into the Dragons' hands. Twente not really... Twente, they could have been able to finish more clearly, but sadly they couldn't.
So, the score is still 20-20. It's anyone's game. Dublin with the attack. We see Kane advancing the quaffle. He's met by Juliane Schillinger, an absolutely known person in German Quidditch for doing basically everything manager-wise for the national team for years. Unfortunately, she stepped down and not wearing anymore her rainbow hat. We miss her dearly. But now
Very
it's
good
counter.
defensive beat by Twente. The counter attack, that should be through. Oh! Good challenge, but wasn't enough. 30-20.
Nick van Cleveren here goes for the tackle, although I think it was clearly from behind. And Kane will have this yellow card shown to him. Yeah, he went over the neck. Vincent Fröhlich saw that one clearly, and you got to give it to him. It was clearly not on purpose. He released immediately, but foul is still a foul. It has to be called. The goal is good, and so
especially
he can remain
in a goal line situation, because if you send it back to hoops, he'll be like, okay, cool, touching the hoops and then going back again, basically not doing anything. So that's one of those situations where a card is basically inevitable. There's some discussion here. Oh yeah, no, because the foul was before the goal, there's no penalty time served, so Kane stays on the field. Stivo Scheurer didn't entirely get that memo, was putting on his keeper headband. And oh well, it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning, you're absolutely right. No, but this game stays very evenly matched. Nick van Cleveren with the 30-20 for the Twentse Thestrals of Enschede. Oh, nice dodge by number 24.
Pass to the right side. Stivo Scheurer once again has a passing opportunity, and the ball goes to Kane. Good block by Juliane Schillinger. There you go, girl. And the counterattack here. No bludger in their way.
He's got Juliane as an option, but she's met in the middle.
Tries to do it himself. Does it himself.
Yeah.
40-20, the new score here for Twente.
Yeah, the problem was that Dublin's beater was taking a long time to regain the bludger off pitch, as could happen. If it longs the wrong time, you're pretty much out of the defense, and your defense has to pick up the slack. Couldn't happen in this instance.
Yeah. Some tactical talk by O'Keefe here. His beater towards his chaser.
Get right on him, he said.
Yeah.
And Stivo does, but too short.
Doesn't go through. Passing station is beat out, and the ball will go back into the arms of Twente's keeper, Nick van Cleveren, if I see correctly. Yes.
Yeah.
Also current coach of the Dutch national team. It's good to have a hobby.
And for some people, that's Quidditch. If we have the sword stoppage in games, Richard, when it comes to seeking, if his teams like go into swim race with each other, which team do you think has the upper hand?
I mean, the thing there is, you have to give it to Twente, because even though Phil Moore is a spectacular seeker, as we saw in the game yesterday, they probably will not take Phil Moore off the field due to the fact that they will need him in the chasing game. Or possibly they're going like, okay, we either catch right now, and our best chance for that is Phil Moore, or we're losing anyway, and who cares if the Dutch score a lot on us? We need to have the fast snitch cats. It's a possible, albeit pretty risky strategy.
Well, I mean, Phil Moore is not on the pitch right now, and it seems to me that Dublin really lost that one edge they needed. They're now 20 points behind.
Yeah, it is true. You see that right away, but again, that's always going to be the case in a small squad. One player steps out. Beater battle won by Dublin theoretically. Very good physical challenging, and the ball.
And Kane should run. He should pick up the pace and run, and he does. Steve-O should pick his head up, can catch, and he catches it.
Yes, and that is marvelous. Kane to Scheurer, 40-30. Lovely play by the Dragons here. Maybe they don't need Phil Moore in the chasing game after all, and they can rest him until he's going time to seeking. Maybe I've spouted absolute gibberish.
Now it's Lars van den Broek. Advance in the quaffle.
Lars van den Broek, I think former Nargles player as well, if I'm not entirely mistaken. Definitely one of the more experienced Dutch players. We've seen him play in multitudes of tournaments. Good pass to the side.
Nice pass.
Strong challenge by Kane. Beat, and that... beat is... But the ball goes over the hoops, and that will be their reset. It should be, at least.
I think they're counting it as a goal attempt.
Well, okay. That's one of those rules that you can interpret in many ways, so yeah.
I might be mistaken. There should be a ref nearby.
Yes.
For us to reconsider our
good offensive beat here, and that should be... Oh! Beat attempt, but there's no one there, and that should be... Good strong challenge, but... over the hoops.
Oh, was it a pass? Oh, they're
and
passing.
That should be one. No, it isn't, and it goes into the arms of the Dragons player I couldn't identify, and that will be a Dragons keeper ball. The keeper already has his hands on it. The keeper already has his hands on it. That has to be a Dublin keeper ball. Come on, people. I can't be the only one who knows the rules, and even I don't know them.
I mean, that was maybe one pass too many for Twentse. I mean, I love seeing you like passing through the keeper zone of the opponent, but at some point you have to stick the ball through the hoops.
Yeah, and a great challenge here by, I think that was Tara McDonald, who, basically went, okay, you're going to do this 5 times. I will know where the ball goes. I will challenge you on this. This is how this game works. Great Steve Scheurer run to the back. And it's through, says the goal ref. No one else does, though.
Pick up the ball, play, and she does.
Good challenge here by Twente, and Steve Scheurer has the ball once again, is challenged. No goal again, and that ball will go back into the hands of the Thestrals. Yes. But there is disadvantage called against Twente for some reason.
Can Terra stop? No. They can't.
Okay, that was an interesting call. Advantage was called for Dublin, but the game was still allowed to continue. This will be interesting.
Unfortunate that Steve missed that one in the offense.
Yes.
Could have given them more time. Now it was only him and Terra on defense.
But also some very good challenge by... sorry, I didn't see who that player was, but some very good effort by Dublin here, but yeah. That will be a yellow against Lars van den Broek. Yeah, the goal is not good. Whatever this was going to be, this goal was going to be not good because the advantage was already called. Yeah, ignoring referee's directive. Now Twente will have to, someone will have, okay, we already have the green headband on one person. Okay, good.
So, the score is 40-30
Yeah.
for Twente.
Sort of a lucky break here for the Dragons.
Absolutely. Phil Moore's back on the pitch together with Stevo, Terra, and I can see the fourth chaser.
That's Elise
there.
Audois,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Moore on the left side. Oh no, was beat. Okay. I thought he dodged it, but that is a good opportunity for number 12. Oh, is challenged and beat out, but number 23 of Twente. Oh, good challenge by Steve
Nice.
And the ball is back in Dragon's hands. One Peter is still there. Pass to Steve Scheurer, who is challenged immediately. Beat and, well, Twente, well, made the most out of a dire situation, I think. Pass to Stevo earlier is the directive from the bench. Not entirely sure that would have made much of a difference, to be fair.
I
but
think Elise could have also gone for the hoop, I think.
probably, I think, yeah.
At least you would have given some space to Stevo,
Number-
because the chaser would
Yeah.
have to leave him open. Okay.
Twente trying to make sense of the situation here. Some good play, but that
Nice wrap by Phil
Good
Moore, and he brings
challenge.
him down.
and Steve Scheurer. Oh no, the ball is still in, and now it is in Dublin's hands.
That was a great defensive
Yes.
offense. Oh, and this goal will go because the wind blew the bludger in a different direction.
But I mean, those are the random things that
Yeah.
you have to work against. But Dublin equalize again with the bearded, long-haired power of one Philip Moore. 40-40.
Well, here comes the bearded, long-haired power of Twentse.
True. that is certainly
With
true.
Bram de Vries,
Certainly true. Another player
his
who
beard doesn't have to hide from anyone's.
That is very true. But this game is not decided on beards and hair alone. We do also have a thing called sport here.
Oh, but Kane, great tackle.
No goal, but yeah, wasn't the worst decision. All the passing opportunities were marked pretty well by the Dragons.
I think the defense of the Dragons has really stepped up their game. They haven't allowed a goal in, I think, at least 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Twente seems to have lost their edge. But on defense, they're still very cautious and playing their 2-2 defense. Now a pick by Terra.
Phil Moore on the left side. Two bludgers. No one can run through two bludgers, Phil.
Yeah.
But there is Kane, and he still has the ball. And passing opportunity is beat out, and Twente once again. That was a number 70, Donna Kalohan, another new recruit. Oh, hasn't passed in basketball. We've heard
Oh,
that.
awesome. So, two bludgers, and I would be very, very confused if this wouldn't go as it has always gone. One leader tries to take out the remaining beater, and then the offense takes part. As happens right now, Bram de Vries goes for it, and this one's in.
This one's in. The beaters of Twente, I think, have figured out what to do against the very, very physical and very man-oriented, or person-oriented for that matter, defense of the Dragons. Well, you don't have to go into the tackles. You can just send your beaters and take care of that for you.
Yeah, and these
If you have
beaters
the
of
bludger control, why not?
And these beaters of Dublin have to react to that. I mean, it's very easy to pick them up if they're just standing there. Try to move, try to maybe block their shot or go with, take a hoop as a defense between you.
Mm-hmm.
This is too easy.
Ball is passed around a little while the challenges on the beater side are made. And it goes back to Twente, and that will be a fast counter. Two people in the way, but not enough. 60-40. Twente have regained a little bit of the ground and a little bit of the momentum in this match, it would seem.
I gotta say, I think it's the tempo and speed of Bram de Vries that makes the difference right here. He can run these counters, and he does. And Dublin doesn't have the personnel at the right time, at the right place, because they're getting beaten by Enskede's beaters. And now we have a 1 minute timeout.
It's probably not the worst idea to take the timeout now on Dublin's side of the field. It's 14 minutes, 15 seconds if our clock is correct here.
I mean, there's some stoppages of time, but roughly around
roughly
30
around
minutes. That should be the game time.
Yes, but I do think our clock is also stopped. So yeah, it is probably also time for them to start thinking about if we're behind 2 goals. That's obviously not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. But we can't sink any further, because if we want to win this, we will need the snitch catch. And yeah, it's probably. They can probably both discuss what Twente has changed and how they can react to it, plus also discuss how they will work this in snitch on pitch. Probably will send Phil Moore seeking. I'd be surprised if they don't at this point.
But for Dublin, I'm really surprised by their 2 rookies, Abigail Whelan, number 19, and Kane Kavanagh Bear.
Yeah,
they're both
absolutely.
rookies, and they're really holding their own against Twente Enschede. Twente Enschede Thestrals.
We've seen Kane wreck some, a word I won't say on air, in this game. Like, really.
I mean, as you just saw on the replay, there has been some great offense.
Yeah.
And now Vincent Fröhlich will call this game on shortly.
There's still some discussion to be had by the referees. And we're off again. Twente still in bludgeon control. Dublin with the quaffle.
Twente had bludgeon control pretty much, I would say, at least 70% of the game.
Yeah, probably something about that.
Playing a 2-2 defense with loaded beaters. Front chaser gated picked off pretty fast. Kane can now look for an option.
Long pass to Steve
nice catch.
Pass back to Kane, but it's intercepted. Kane challenges heavily right away. And, oh no, that's it. 2 players through, and that will, oh, nice challenge by Steve Scheurer, but not enough. 70-40. That's not what Dublin would have wanted after this timeout at all. No. But very, very good play by Twente here. Not losing their calm, making the challenges where they need to, and then taking advantage of the counter opportunity with an empty field in front of them.
Yeah, and I think it was all because of Maria Repken with an interception of the pass by Steve-O.
Yes.
Was there at the right time, anticipated the pass, and could provide the opportunity for the goal made by Twente.
Kane on the left side. The classic pass back to Steve Scheurer,
but Bram saw that coming 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yes. Twente have figured out how to work against Steve Scheurer. Yeah. Took them a while, but they finally got there.
Yeah. But I think still in Twente's defense, if I would change something, their point chasers are getting picked off way too easily. Maybe give them some defense or let the offense come to you, because you're just wearing out your point defenders.
Yeah.
Nick van Cleveren back in action.
Peter battles one here by the Thestrals. Pass behind the hoops. That should be through, and it is. 80-40. Game slipping away from the Irish hands.
Boyd hitting with the backhanded throw right through the hoops with the nice pass before from Nick van Cleveren. Nick van Cleveren, I normally just see him walking around with his great camera and providing great pictures of all European tournaments. Now I see him on pitch, and he can hold his own with a great eye for his teammate in this instance.
Twente is definitely challenging the perception of Dutch Quidditch as being more of a social club. This is definitely a sporting team right there.
And did you see that by Boyd Hetling? He just picked up the ball from the Dublins and got it back with his...
Oh, good challenge by Kane! Ball protection was lacking here from Nick van Cleveren. And, yep, Steve Scheurer. Oh, okay, we might have an injury here. Oh, God.
Oh, I think that was an unlucky fall there by Nick van Cleveren. He fell on the heels of Kane with his stomach, and that knocks the wind out. That knocks the wind out of you. $80-40. I mean, Dublin needs something to get these points, and it's not working with their first, first goals. Counters, or like the quick pass to Steve-O. The problem is that Dublin needs some other offensive idea than coming with the counters. These can work, but the passes to Steve are not working anymore. Everyone on Twente's team is waiting for these passes to come and jumping inside these passing lanes and get the ball.
Yeah, I think that has become obvious that Dublin will need another idea here. Good beat, and that will probably be another Twente goal. Good challenge by Kane, a good challenge by Scheurer, but it's not enough. 90-40. We already see Phil Moore here with the yellow headband on.
And he's subbing now. Tara is gonna change. Vay's gonna try to get these defensive positions and prevent the yellow catch.
Juliane Schillinger versus Stivo Scheurer. Matchup between two people who've probably been in the sport for like 20 years by now. Oh, Stivo Scheurer beat out, and that is a counter opportunity for the Thestrals. They don't really take that opportunity, and Dublin has bludger control.
That's important. Don't lose it. If you can come back in this game, but you need to stay with these bludgers, keep them, and make the life hard for the opposing team.
Tara McDonald going forward to make life hard for Twente right away is beat out, and that gives Twente a little bit of an opportunity alone with the person in yellow.
But this guy seems to be hot on his heels, is moving a lot, making it hard to gain any position. And now there's Phil Moore, and I think he can go through. Let's see if Lars van Dibber can stop him. He can't.
No. 90-50, one step in the right direction for Dublin, and probably not what Twente were hoping for.
We got a ball game right here.
We have a game is played and balls are involved. Oh, we have a running snitch, also something we don't see too often anymore.
Yeah, you can't stay. It's really hard for number 61. That's Annika Köster. She can't.
Former Bielefeld player. Oh, I thought I recognized her from somewhere.
Lost her broom there.
The snitch also wants to collect even more brooms, but Tara McDonald is like, you don't need one, I need it. Get off me. Good challenge by Phil Moore on the... Oh, good challenge by
but Maria
Stivo
Repken
Scheurer.
is still on her legs. She's not going down. She's not going down.
Massive play by both of them. Stivo Scheurer loses his broom. The ball still goes to Phil Moore. Good pass on the right side. Oh, and Kane is free, and he makes the goal.
And now they can go for the catch to put it in the overtime, and Tara knows
90-60. Tara McDonald here. Well, that was easy. And Twente now under pressure to catch because the momentum is shifting into Dublin's direction, and a snitch catch would halt that momentum, well, by default, very quickly.
Okay, so Dublin with the snitch on pitch played better than Twente Thestrals, and I think that's not going to change. The defense looks set,
Yes.
and the snitch seems to hold on for a few more minutes there.
And Stivo Scheurer is through. Can he?
And now,
Oh my God! 90-70. If Dublin catch now, they win. But so far, Twente has a more active game on the snitch runner themselves. Oh, and there he is. Phil Moore gets the yellow headband, and this might get interesting now.
Now it's on, Richard. Now it's on.
The bludger control is also still with Dublin. There is one Twente beater, and the Twente beaters have realized, yes, Phil Moore, don't let him get to the runner. Meanwhile, Annika Köster is challenging the snitch runner pretty heavily, and now we have her and Phil Moore both on the snitch runner. I'm assuming the snitch runner will have some work to do.
And
right
Juliane Schillinger makes an important goal right there.
100-70, but still, overtime will be a good... And Stivo Scheurer on the counter is... that was very close to a contact from behind. Oh, and the lovely goal by number 28. That is
Henrike Jungeblut.
Yes. And it's a swim game again, 100-80.
Oh, I'm just reading that Henrike is from Heidelberg and will return to Germany I'm from Heidelberg, and
I
I
was gonna
hope
say.
she does. I hope she does.
Oh yeah,
That-
definitely.
We
She's-
can need more chasers like that. You can never have too many.
Good challenge here by Jungblut here.
I mean, this is what you want out of the Quidditch game. It's close. Both teams can have it, and now they're both going for the seeker, for the snitch.
Phil Moore is beat out, so it's again Annika Köster, sorry. Annika Köster on the snitch runner. Holy moly. Now, Annika Köster is giving that snitch runner a pretty big challenge. And Phil Moore
He's got it.
has it, but was it inside of the pitch? I'm not entirely sure, but Phil Moore is already celebrating and punching the ground as if it was, well, let's not go into Irish politics here.
I mean, that was on the other side of the pitch. I hope you guys could see that in the stream.
If that was good, that is a massive, massive win for Dublin. A
Yeah.
massive win.
And there we can have the replay. Hard to see, but I think that might have been a good one.
If that was inside, I think it was good.
And that was a great comeback by Dublin. They were like
Yeah.
back 40, 50 points, and then the snitch came on pitch, and that's when they took control of this game. Fought their way back, and that would mean it would be 100 to 110 star for Dublin Draiochta Dragons.
Which will be massive, massive, massive. Coming here with 9 players, getting 1 injury on the first day, and here beating.
And
it
it
is,
does!
It is true. The Dublin Draiochta Dragons win 110 star to 100 against Twente Thestrals from Enschede. Twente are heartbroken. You can see it. Again, this is Netherlands versus Ireland. This is a classic matchup, and this once again went to Ireland and once again went against the Netherlands. The Twente Thestrals, they played such a good game,
They
but
did.
they couldn't keep it together on snitch on pitch, and then a singular talent like Phil Moore
Can make all
can
the
make
difference.
that difference. And kudos to both teams. This was a massive, massive game, and I'd say with pretty good start into the day.
Let's
What do
hope
you
it
say?
continues like I think it will be like this because now the teams are really eye to eye leveled,
Yeah.
and this is going to be the first of many great games. So stay tuned. This is it for me and Richard at this point, and
Yes.
we'll be giving over to the analyst deck in a few seconds. So stay on tune.
Stay
and
tuned, yes.
thank you for watching. I'm out, and
And I'm out.
take care.
Hello everyone, we're back here after the first amazing game of the day. I'm with Monique and Gio. What do you think, guys?
Very interesting game overall. Another very surprising win for Dublin. Not because of the lack of quality in their players, but the lack of number in their players. So again, another full squad that got upset by the cheeky Irish team.
Yeah, 8 people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of that was maybe a bit of sloppy play from the Dutch team, from the Thestrals. They seem to have a bit of sloppy passing around the hoops when maybe someone should be a bit selfish and drove it in.
It is windy, so the conditions today are so different to yesterday, where it was windy again, but absolutely freezing cold and wet balls. Whereas today, maybe the passes are flying more than they normally would with the wind.
And what do you think the Thestrals were lacking this game?
Maybe a bit of organisation on defence. It seemed a bit sporadic. Where as soon as the pass went over the top, they just weren't sure who should be going up to mark, who should be where. And Dublin took advantage of that with some drives, a bit more clinical passes with Phil and Steve-O.
I would add in coordination of the beta game. So there were times where the beaters weren't focusing on the quaffle, or they weren't aggressive enough with the bludger to stop the drive. Because really it was Phil and Steve-O scoring almost all of the goals. So the bludgers should have been a lot more aware and looking to shut down those players on their halfway line, not let them get into the keeper zone.
So can we say it's lack of communication within the Thestrals?
Yeah, I think that's
both
fair.
on and off the pitch.
I think that's fair in terms of the communication with chasers, communication between chasers and beaters, and understanding what your assignment is really. If you're a beater, are you being high aggressive? Are we being back defensive? Where should we be basically?
Yeah.
But overall, the shape of the game was fascinating. So Dublin called their timeout when they were down just before the snitch came out on pitch, out of overtime range. They let in a couple more goals, and then somehow once the snitch came on, just like yesterday, they managed to pull it back into range and fill court really quickly.
Well, we all know the early game and the snitch on pitch are two very different games and require two different tactics. And Dublin's coming up back in the game, and the snitch on pitch shows us that they know how to play the snitch on pitch, I guess, right? Because the team's quality actually is determined during snitch on pitch, in my opinion, of course. I don't know what you think.
I think that's quite fair. I think Phil demonstrated how important he is to the game, both as a chaser and as a seeker, catching the snitch, scoring majority of the goals for Dublin, and if not, the probably best person on defence with the tackles. This time mostly legal.
Yeah, I think maybe Dublin play well in the chaos of the snitch on pitch, so maybe that's where Thestrals lost their way a bit.
Yeah.
It was even more difficult for them to know where to focus correctly, and Dublin was somehow able to get the clinical goals on offence and defend well enough to stop to stop themselves from conceding anymore.
I think we also saw that team spirit can change the course of the game. It doesn't matter if you're low in numbers or haven't played not really good during the game, but if you have the spirit like Phil, you can change the course of the game.
I think a big factor of that is the Irish team have a supporter out here who's screaming, and we can hear him from the opposite side of the pitch. And that really does help motivate you. When you're feeling down and you hear someone from the sideline shouting your team's name, cheering you on, that can really give you that boost of energy.
Definitely. We have all been on the pitch, and we know how the support coming from the side is important, right?
Definitely. And maybe that's what they were talking about. I was trying to figure out what they would have been talking about during that timeout, and I definitely saw when they were down below range, a lot of them had their heads down, they looked very tired, and somehow they managed to claw it back. Couple of goals, suddenly they were feeling more confident, and they managed to pull it out of the bag.
Yeah.
Maybe they were discussing a new chance.
I'm not sure if they get any input. I think it's just the supporter coming up with those.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay, last words on Thestrals and Dublin. What do you see about them? What will they do at the end of today?
So this is a lower bracket game. For me, the strongest team in the lower bracket is definitely Malacca Vikings. But similarly,